Welcome to the NDOT Partnering Roadmap tool. This is an instructional video that will help you know how to use this tool. We'll be walking through each of the pages and giving you examples of how you're going to use it. This roadmap is a one-stop repository for all of your project partnering information. We'll go through it step by step to help you know how to complete it. When you start a project, this is the first page you will go to. You will type in nevadadotroadmap.com. It will bring you to this page. The first thing it tells you to do is go to the project page to get started. Here, you have the option to create a new project. The first thing you need to do is type in the contract number. For our purposes today, we're going to call this contract 1 demo. This way, we'll be able to type in some demo information without conflicting with any real projects that are out there. For our demo project, we're going to say that it takes place in Ely. We're going to have our contractor name that we just type in. We'll say this is XYZ Contractor. Our resident engineer, this is where we type in our name and contact information for that person. We're going to say that that's Bob Jones. And for the purposes of our demo, we'll simply give him a phone number of 555-5555. And the project manager on the contractor side is going to be Mary Smith. And we will give her a phone number of 444-4444. This information is what will appear throughout your project so that you have contact information on both sides. Also on here, you have the option of putting in a partnering budget. This is the amount that you initially have to spend on partnering. On a later screen, you'll see how you can track your expenses and see how much you've spent as you go along. For our demo, we're going to say that we have a $5,000 budget. And now at the bottom, we simply click on Save Changes. What that does is it now comes back to this screen and shows us that we have a new project that has been created. You'll see here at the top that you have a new website address. This is a unique address that is generated by the system so that you can come back to your project at any time. Notice here that it says be sure to bookmark this page. So you either need to bookmark the page or you need to save this address to some secure place. And that's what you'll give to the members of your project team to be able to come back to this site and look at information for the project. Now, after you've created this project, every other time you come back to this URL, you will come to the home page. On the home page, you'll now see that this is for Project 1 Demo in Ely. As we go through the different pages and we create some consensus team goals, they will then populate in here so that the next time you come back, you will see the team goals as well. So what we'll do today, we'll come over here and we're going to walk through each of these pages. We've already seen the home page, the project page. Now we're going to go to the master checklist page. Now, click here and move to the master checklist. Sometimes this takes just a minute to load. And you will see that we have a checklist that we can use to help us know how to plan and prepare for our kickoff workshop, elements to cover in the kickoff workshop, and things to do for a closeout workshop, as each of those are required for every NDOT project. This comprehensive checklist helps us to be able to know what we should do every time. At the beginning of a project, it may be the RE and the PM who come in here to use this to plan the kickoff workshop. For each item, you'll see that there is a pull down right here that gives you a choice of done, or not applicable. So, for example, determine partnering level. Now, this just means, is it a level 1 project where you will be facilitating it just internally with the RE and the PM, or is it a level 2 project that requires a professional facilitator? In the NDOT Partnering Field Guide, you will see that you're required to have professional facilitation if it's over $10 million. If not, then you have the option of kind of looking at the complexity of it and deciding. So we have a tool over here, the Facilitation Matrix, that we'll look at in a minute that will help you do that. For our demo, we're going to say that that's been done, and we can come here to our comments and we can say that this is a level 1 project, in case there's any question. So hire a facilitator, we won't need to do that. So we're going to say that that's not applicable. Scheduling a room, we do need a place to have it. And we already had someone contact the Holiday Inn and they've scheduled it there. So we'll say Holiday Inn in Ely. So these fields just show you that you have plenty of room, that you can enter any additional text that you want. And then for each item, you will check it off. This part shows you the different partnering elements that you need to make sure that you cover. So in this, you'll be able to use it during your workshop, where this is a level 1 project and it's not going to have a professional facilitator. This is a way that you can make sure you've covered everything that you need to cover for your kickoff. Discuss and compare expectations. Have we done that? Maybe there is someone on your team, a partnering champion, that has been assigned to make sure you cover each of these things in the workshop. As you do it, you can come in and check that off as done. Did we create team goals, create a charter, start a risk register? All of these items you will check off as you go. Down here, we have the closeout workshop. This is where you would come back to at the end of your project. You'll see that these are similar to what we did for the kickoff workshop. And this will allow you to, again, use it as a checklist to make sure everything is covered. At the workshop itself, these are the items that you would discuss. Now, coming back over here, let's take a look at that facilitation matrix. This is a simple rubric that will help you to determine the appropriate partnering level for your project. Again, in the field guide, it says all projects with a bid amount over $10 million are required to have a professional facilitator. However, there are others that might benefit from a third-party professional. So on this matrix, you'll see that each of these items has a scale from 1 to 5. This just allows you to take a look at what your project is and assign it a value. For example, take a look at the length of it. Is it less than 60 days? Is it greater than 150 days? So for our project, we're going to say that it is a 3. We have 65 days assigned, so we're going to give it that. It's a relatively small project. We're just going to give that a 1. We have few risks, so again, another 1. This is somewhere where the RE and the PM maybe have this discussion, and you assign these values to help you figure it out. So as far as schedule risks, we don't really see anything major going on here, so we're going to have a level 1. Others may have a lot of constraints and high liquidated damages, so we'd have a higher score there. Our partnering team relationships. For our demo project, these are teams that have worked together multiple times. XYZ contractor and the NDOT crew have worked together a lot, so we're going to assign them a 1 on this one as well. And we have fewer than 3 third parties that are involved in our discussion. You'll see that as we did this, it's giving us a total score down here of 8. If it's less than 15, that qualifies as a level 1, and higher than 15 is a level 2. There is nothing that is binding about this matrix. It's simply a tool that is available for you. Let's go to the next screen. This is our consensus team goals. NDOT has determined that every project is going to have goals for safety, quality, schedule, and budget. So these goals are going to appear for every project. In this field, you can type in any sub-goals that you might have. So for instance, under safety, we're going to add that one of our goals is to follow all COVID restrictions and you can make that as detailed as you want, but that will now show up as one of our goals. If we have an additional goal that we would like to add, so for example, let's say we want a new goal where we're going to create an award-winning project. I'm going to put that as our new goal, press the save button, and you will see that that gets added up to our regular goals. Occasionally, maybe I waited just a little too long. We're going to have to reload it here, right? And we'll add that goal one more time. I'm going to create an award-winning project. Click save. That is now one of our additional goals. You'll see that we now have the option to add a sub goal here. So as our sub goal, we're going to say that we will apply for an award through the International Partnering Institute. So if we jump back over to our home page, you will now see there are our standard goals with the sub goal that we added, as well as our additional goal and the sub goals there. So this gives a lot of flexibility to the team, and every time that you come here to the home page, you will see those goals displayed. Okay, let's jump back over here to our list. Let's go to the issue resolution ladder. As you may know, the issue resolution ladder is one of the partnering elements that should be addressed at every kickoff session. One of the goals of partnering is to solve issues at the lowest level. With that in mind, you may choose to call that lowest level, level 1. So let's create just the beginnings of an issue resolution ladder. This is what you could be doing during your kickoff session. So we will click on create. You enter the level that you're working on. So we're going to say this is level 1. Okay. And we will call this person on the contractor side, let's say Fred Williams, and his title is foreman. And the contractor phone, again, for our demo, we'll just use simple numbers. On the NDOT side, we will have Carl Jones. His title is inspector. And for a phone number, just put in some extra numbers there. Over here, you have the option of putting in a time to escalate. Some teams like to define the amount of time that you have, where maybe you say the foreman and the inspector have 2 hours to reach agreement. And if they don't, then it needs to be escalated. Other teams don't choose to put that information on there. So either way, it doesn't matter. This is an optional field. Once you have completed this, and we will say that they have 4 hours, then you simply click save, and it gives you the first level of your resolution ladder. You can then go on and do a level 2. So we will just put in a couple of names. We will say perhaps this is Karen Smith, and in this case we'd say maybe this is the superintendent, and you continue to do this. You put in a name here for this person who is John. You put in a title, a phone number, press save, and you just build your resolution ladder. So you can have as many levels as your team chooses to have. In the future, if there is an issue, it's very easy to come back here and reference your ladder. Let's move on to the risk register. The risk register is one of those tools that is available to you to use. One of the purposes of a good kickoff session is to talk about potential risk for the project. Occasionally, those risks can be addressed and even resolved at that meeting. But more commonly, it's a place to bring up issues that might happen, things that aren't for sure, but they might. And you can brainstorm some mitigation strategies. This risk register is a place that you can gather those issues and then provide a way to follow up on them. So for example, you're just going to come up here and type in one of the risks that you might have. So on any project, a great risk, common risk, is unknown utilities issues, right? In the responsible party field, we're going to put the name of someone who's been assigned to kind of watch for these, someone that will keep an eye knowing that that's a possibility. Doesn't mean that this person is responsible to fix it themselves, but it does mean that they should be watching out for it and kind of being aware if something comes up. So for this, we're going to say this is Mark K. If we have any mitigation ideas, if we have any things that in our meeting we talk about and we say, what can we do about this? Okay, well, one of the things is a weekly report on utilities status. Okay. And then we're just going to click save. What that does is it moves it down here to this list where we can look at risks. So we can put up here, weather may be a risk, or some sort of traffic control may be a big risk. If in the course of your project, you resolve any of these issues or the time passes and that's no longer a risk, you can click here. This is an edit button. Throughout this tool, this blue square with the pencil is an edit button. And you can click on that, press save. It shows that it's been resolved and it puts it in green. And it will just move it down to the bottom. So then you will have other risks that then you can be tracking. Let's go to the meeting schedule. The meeting schedule is a simple screen where you can record time and place for meetings. For example, you might enter the time and the place of your weekly meeting. So we're going to say this is our weekly project meeting. It's going to be in the field trailer, and it's going to be Wednesday at 9 a.m. and press save. It just shows up there. This is kind of a handy tool if you have new people coming onto your project. They would always know that they could go to the roadmap tool and see when the meetings are. If you've scheduled a pre-activity meeting that's a special meeting, you could type that in here and then everyone would know and there would be no questions about it. Let's move on to issue tracking over here on the left. This issue tracking is specifically for issues that are escalated. We've already talked before, we established our issue resolution ladder over here on the left. Now, this is a place where we can actually keep track of the issues that are escalated. Remember, this is simply a tool for the project team to be able to keep all of this in one place. As for the actual escalation, you will still need to follow the NDOT processes for the escalation. However, if you put it in here, it's a great place for you to look at your weekly meetings to see what's outstanding. It's also a great place to be able to come back to at the end of a project and see how these things were resolved. So at this point, you would come over here and let's say there was an issue or there was maybe a disagreement about, wow, everyone's watching, about the mix design. So it was escalated and we're going to say that it happened today, and we're going to add any comments that might help to explain the issue. So it was, need to consult with the materials lab. Anything else that you might want to say, and then you click save. Oh, now you'll see that it has added it as an escalation issue. I want to point out this line right here that says click on an issue to add escalation info. If the issue is escalated to the next level, you simply click on the issue itself. Then this field pops up. Over to the right, you'll see there's a field that says Add Escalation. If I click on that, it now gives me entry fields where I can put the date that it's escalated, any additional comments to say perhaps who it was escalated to, maybe what some discussion that you had, who has some of the documentation, whatever. And then you will click Save in order to save that. So you can track every escalation for an issue. And I'm going to add this escalation right now, but we will undo that. As with the risk register, this does give us a place where we can mark that an issue has been resolved. So we'd simply click on the edit button, put a check mark here to say it is resolved. Make sure you press the save key, and then it will be recorded as a resolved issue. So you can come back and look at that later to see which issues were resolved. Let's move on to action items. Action items, again, this is just a tool that is available for your team. It's not a requirement by any means. It's just there for your convenience. But if your team would like to track action items moving from week to week, this is a great place to do it. You can come in here and you can type in an action. So let's say, for example, someone is supposed to distribute flyers to local businesses. Maybe this is the responsibility of the PI representative on your team. So we're going to say this has been assigned to Sherry and PI, and she's supposed to do it by today. If you need to, you can use the calendar here to pull down a date. You can type in any additional information. She will approve the flyer with the RE and PM. Click Save. There we have our action item. You'll notice that it appeared in yellow. The reason for that is because the deadline is today. If the deadline is today, it shows up highlighted in yellow. If the deadline is further out, it will not have a highlight on it. And if the deadline has passed, it will show up with a red highlight. What's nice about this is that you can come in every weekly meeting, pull up your action items list, and you automatically have your agenda before you. If you have items that are highlighted in red, you'll know that those are items that you really need to take care of right away. Again, like the other options, you click on this, you have a field where you can click that it was done. You'll notice it now turns to green to say that that action has been completed. So the action items list is a great little tool to use for your weekly meetings. Almost done with these pages. Let's go to the partnering expense budget. Here, you'll see the original budget amount that we entered when we set up our project. To date, it shows 0 expenditures, so we still have a balance of $5,000. Well, we're going to say that for our kickoff meeting, and actually let's just change that. We'll say that our kickoff was a week ago, and we had the expense for the room at the Holiday Inn, and we'll say they charged us $500 for rent on the room. Click Save. You'll see 2 things. Here, it now shows the $500 that's been subtracted from the $5,000, giving you a balance of $4,500. You'll also see a list of all the expenses down below it. So at any given time, the leaders of your project team can come in here and see how much partnering money is available for other activities that they may want to have. And now the last page that we haven't looked at yet. This is one of my favorites, the award criteria. Many project teams are interested at the beginning of their project in applying for awards. However, what happens is after a year or a 2-year long project, you're asked to remember everything that you did. So what we've done is gone in and collected criteria that are asked for for some of these most popular awards. You'll see the NDOT Excellence in Partnering Award, the John L. Martin Partnered Project of the Year Award, that is through the International Partnering Institute, and the Marvin Black Partnering Excellence Award through the AGC. These are the common criteria. Now, you'll see below that, each of these criteria has an entry box. These boxes are nothing more than text boxes. Over on the right-hand side, you'll see you have the option that you can expand that box as much as you need. But you will just come in here, you could record. Like I said, we're pretending that we had a kickoff session on 8/20/2020. Then maybe we had an interim session. Then we could say we had a closeout session. We could record anything we want to about that. Team building, public or stakeholder information. And with each of these, you'll notice that you can click on that and it will take you straight to it. Innovations, refinements, these are the kinds of things that if your partnering champion is following up on this on a regular basis, he or she can be recording all of this information and it's all there when you go to fill out the award application. You don't have to just remember it because it's all there. So we've now covered each of these fields. They're great opportunities for you to enter and collect information. You can modify it. The edit field is always available. You need to remember that on each screen, you need to press the save button in order to save that information. When you reach the end of your project, you're going to go back here to the master checklist where you then have the opportunity to plan your closeout workshop and to just go through the closeout workshop, discuss lessons learned, complete award applications, whatever else, celebrate something that went well on your project. After you've completed all of that and you want to indicate that your project is complete, you come back to this project page and you'll see the button for edit project. When you go there, you'll see down here, project is complete, and you have a checkbox where you can mark that or unmark it. We're not going to mark it right now because our demo project's really not complete yet, but you could save those changes and that will indicate that it is complete. All of this information will be tracked in a database with an administrative website that the NDOT Construction Administration Manager will have a chance to look at. And that will be indicated in her database that the project is complete. You'll see there's also a button here for print project. At the end of the project, you'll have the opportunity to press that and it will collect everything that you've entered on each of these pages and allow you to print it out or save that as a PDF so that you have the information available for documentation or to use as award application material, whatever you want to do with it. That completes the demo of the NDOT Partnering Roadmap tool. If you have additional questions, you can direct those to the NDOT office, to the Construction Administration Manager, and she can help you walk through any of the questions that you might have. We hope you will take the tool and use it to encourage your team to work together and partner well together and to find success, that it will allow you to build better trust, collaboration, and better solutions. Good luck.